Okay, so we recorded this episode twice now. The second time we recorded, we forgot to do our shout-outs. So I figured we'd go ahead and do that, and I'll just mix it into the first part. Because it was over an hour long, right? The second time we did it? It was like 40 minutes long the first time we recorded, an hour long the second time. But we forgot to do our shout-outs, so we're going to go ahead and do that real quick.
Gotta do the shout-out.
I'll mix it into the beginning. So from my part of Facebook, we had Tim and his wife, Lauren. Thank you guys so much for being avid listeners.
Yes, thank you.
Of the podcast. I appreciate it. And we also had Jan, some friends that we've had for a very, very long time. And Miranda didn't want to shout out, but she basically just left a message letting us know that she had downloaded the podcast but hadn't had a chance to listen to it.
But she gets a shout out anyway.
So hopefully she'll listen to it. And I think you had a couple likes.
Yeah, I had a few likes on our post earlier this evening. So we didn't say we were going to give them a shout out, but we're going to give them a shout out anyway because we really, really appreciate all the support from, listening to our podcast and also the support on Facebook. So Lisa, Tina, and Jonathan, thank you so much for your likes, and we really appreciate all the support. So shout out to you guys.
Well, thank you guys, and now back to your normal scheduled program. Welcome, everybody, to the Bob and Katie Show, Episode 5, New Parents, Part 2.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Bob. We just got done recording for like 42 minutes and decided we didn't like it. We deleted it. We're starting over.
Delete.
Hopefully we'll get it right this time. So, we left off on Episode 4. We just found out that we're having twins, right? You were a little, not rude, you let some cuss words fly.
I still do not remember that.
By
the way,
it was hilarious.
I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I don't remember. If you said it happened, then fine, it happened. But I don't remember it. But,
so, everything between, when we found out we were having twins, up until you got admitted to the hospital, nothing too crazy. We'll touch on it all kind of quickly and move on from there.
We had a lot going on. Like, our best friends got married in April. I was about 12 weeks along when they got married. We were a little nervous to see if I was going to be able to fit into my dress, which I did, thank goodness, and it was a gorgeous dress. I loved it so much.
Very pretty.
We did have a gender reveal party just with our family. Not a huge deal, just so you know. Just a little get together to make it fun. But otherwise, I was very blessed with a very healthy pregnancy up until 22 weeks.
Which is when you found out that your cervix was shortening. We're not going to spend a lot of time on trying to explain to people who don't know what that is.
It's just not good. You don't want it to happen.
It starts out long. It gets shorter. It's kind of like a fuse. Once it reaches the end, things explode and babies fall out.
They use your cervical length to determine. If it starts to shorten, it could mean that preterm labor is coming. So once I was at 22 weeks, at my visit, when I was 22 weeks, they discovered my cervix was shortening, and there was a threat of preterm labor. It was really scary and really nerve-wracking for a while. I was already on quite a few medications. I was taking blood thinner injections, and then they had to add another medication, and it was a little scary.
What it really means when you go into the doctor and they're like, "We've noticed that your cervix is starting getting short." That basically means every week until the babies get here, I need you to come into the office, pull your vagina out, and we're going to have to look at it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Every single week.
So, sorry.
Goodness gracious, right in the middle of recording.
Sorry, I can't help it.
So we lived an hour away, so once a week we drove for an hour. You took your pants off, let the doctor dive in there.
Please get undressed from the waist down.
Put this paper towel over you to cover you up. You put your legs up in the door. They were facing the door, so if anybody walked in, your stuff was hanging out. So we were on edge because at 22 weeks,
that's too early.
Babies start coming.
It's no good.
It's not good. We eventually made it to 26 weeks, which is still
28.
bad. 28 is when you got admitted.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So we eventually got to 26 weeks, which theoretically is the point where they can start
24
saving
weeks.
the babies. Is it 24?
Yeah, they
We
say that
don't know
like
what we're talking about right now, do
I
we?
didn't know what
Maybe
you were
we should
talking-
start the podcast over again. Welcome to the Bob and Katie Show, take 3.
Oh my goodness.
So
Something so dramatic.
we reached that point to where we felt better that the babies were going to be, okay.
If they came, that they would probably survive.
But the chances at that point were not good that they would be normal. So no parent wants that. But that's what happened, and then eventually we went in on a new comic book day, right?
I went every Wednesday to the doctor.
Yeah.
At 22 weeks, yeah, they started having me come in once a week, and we always went on Wednesday.
So week 28, new comic book day. The Punisher #9, Black Widow #9 was coming out. I've been waiting all year for this. They were going to cross over. Nathan Edmondson was the writer of both of those books, who ultimately reached out to me and said, congratulations. So that was pretty awesome when we had the babies to have the writer of a huge comic book like that, let us know, congratulations. But that was the first time the babies had interrupted one of my things, right? I think so. Week 28.
Oh, boo-hoo.
So... we were going to go to lunch that day.
Yeah, we had plans. We were going to go to the doctor, and then we were going to go have lunch. We were going to pick up your comic book. I think we had a couple errands we were going to run that day after our doctor's appointment. Kind of a normal thing because Wilmington's an hour away from us. So, we planned all of our other things around days we went to the doctor, but we went, and they're like, well, you can't go home today. You need to go straight over to the hospital. We think you're going into preterm labor. We go over to the hospital. I was dilated 2 centimeters. And at that point, they wanted to try to stop the labor, so they gave me the magnesium sulfate treatment. They basically said, here, you're going to lie in bed. We're going to give you a catheter. You can't get up. You cannot eat. For 12 to 24 hours originally. End of 24 hours, they said,
they wanted you to do it again.
Yeah, we need to keep doing this for another 24 hours.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So you can't eat, you can't get out of the bed. I'm sneaking away eating cookies because I'm starving to death and I didn't want to eat anything in front of you. I called into work,
Yeah, I think whenever they told me I couldn't eat, because I was already... By that point, I hadn't eaten since breakfast that morning, and it's like that afternoon. I'm pregnant with twins, and like those babies, when I didn't eat, they got angry, and when they were like, you can't eat for like 24 hours, I think I cried. I was like, what? This is like torture. And then at the end of that 24 hours, I had been like counting down the hours, and they're like, we're going to keep you here on this treatment for another 24 hours. I was like, I'm going to die. I'm just going to die.
Was that the same night I woke up? I was sleeping on a chair or something. I woke up and you were crying.
Yeah, the second night where by that point, I only had about 6 hours to go, 8 hours to go, something like that, out of the 48 hours. And it was the middle of the night. I was crying. I was just miserable. I couldn't sleep. All the medications were making me feel funny. The catheter was uncomfortable. I hadn't been able to eat for 2 days. It was miserable.
So I went out and talked to the nurse, and I was like, hey, look, we need to give her something for sleep. And her response was, we have to have a doctor prescribe something. And I said, okay.
Which is stupid because they had been trying to offer me Ambien the whole time I was there.
Well, I told her, I was like, well, why don't we go get a doctor to prescribe it? Oh, well, we think he's in the room this time. Because they had a room. There was always a doctor there, but the doctor had a room they would sleep in.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, look, you're either A, going to give her something to help her sleep, or I'm about to freak out and cause a huge scene right here in the hallway, start waking up all the people. I said, it's not happening. I'm not letting my wife sit in there and suffer. She's been super nice to you guys, and she is very unhappy. She's crying. It's about to go down. And if you don't think I will not throw a scene in here, then you got something else coming. And it was, 5 minutes after that she came
to the room? She was awesome. She came, gave me Ambien, and...
Sometimes you just got to put people in their place,
Yeah, she helped me out, and I was able to go to sleep. But, they finally... I was in labor and delivery because, I was going into preterm labor, and At the end of the 48 hours, the labor had stopped, my contractions had stopped, so they're like, well, we're going to send you over to antepartum, which is basically just where pregnant ladies go to hang out, where, it's really not safe for you to go home because you could go into labor, so they can keep an eye on you and monitor you, but they're like, oh, it's so nice over there. There's, like, this nice patio, and there's a room that has, like, movies and TV,
what
magazines.
Do they call it? What do they call that room? Oh my gosh, the getaway or something like that?
The Sweet Retreat.
The Sweet Retreat, which was it had this old TV. It wasn't even a flat screen TV. It was just like one of those big
they
boxes.
made it sound, they're like, oh, it's so nice. You're just going to go and hang out. They made it sound like it's this, like, spa retreat. But I get over there, and whenever they moved me over there, all I wanted to do, because I was finally able to eat, get up out of the bed, I was like, all I want to do is order food and take a shower. I ordered my food. I went and took a shower. The nurse was like a freaking shower Nazi. She's like, she's been in there too long. I'm going to go in there after her. You had to stop her from coming in there and getting me.
She was like, she'd been in the shower too long. There's a chair inside the shower.
Yeah, there's this
She's been in bed doing magnesium treatments for 48 hours. She hasn't eaten. She's going crazy. I'm having to give her pills. How about you guys just let this woman...
Just let me shower. Jeez. So I, showered and ate, and, anyway, by the time we finally were like, let's go check out this Sweet Retreat. I don't even know if it was that day. I can't remember the first time we went over there. But yeah, it's like, there's a TV, and it's this old crappy TV.
Oh, but it had tons of board games.
There was like
were used, missing pieces, and I'm sure they were all bought and paid for in 1970.
Yeah, there was, stacks upon stacks of games, but every game we're like, let's play this, and it was missing pieces, missing dice. You couldn't play any of those games. All the books, you've never heard of any of the books or any of the authors. There were these random books. All the magazines were years old, and I was like, really? There
was an autobiography from Dr. Kevorkian. I was pretty sure that book shouldn't have been in there.
Oh yeah, they made it sound so nice.
There were puzzles, and I remember thinking, we could sit in here and put a puzzle together.
Yeah, we had a discussion about, we're like, hey, maybe we should try to put together a puzzle, but
if we sat here for 4 hours and put this puzzle together, and we get down and there's a piece missing, I'm going to jump off that balcony.
I remember, and it was right after we had this discussion about, hey, we should try to put together a puzzle. I found some random puzzle pieces on the floor, and I was like, yeah, that probably goes to the puzzle we'd want to put together. But anyway, most of the nurses there were pretty nice. I got to spend a lot of time with these nurses.
Except for the creepy one that kept opening the blinds while we were sleeping.
They're in the room.
I've never wanted to punch a woman before until that point.
In the room, there is a little window, and it has blinds that are in between two panes of glass, and you can open these blinds from the inside or the outside.
And what you're talking about is from the hallway where
from
the nurses
the hallway,
sit and look at the computers. There's a window looks into the bedroom.
So they can peek in. I know they use it mainly
or hospital room, not bedroom, rather.
Mainly at night. They every so often, and they rarely did this. They would peek in and just look in on me, just make sure everything was okay, so they wouldn't have to open the door and disturb me. But there was this one particular nurse that she abused the freaking blinds. The window was up near my head, and every time she would open the blinds, it would shine bright light right in my face. And she would do it. I know it's her job to look in on me, but most of the nurses, if they knew, because they would come in before I went to sleep and get my vitals, and they would ask me, if I was about to go to bed. Yeah, I'm about to turn in, and most of them, they would leave me alone for the night. But this one nurse, it's she just didn't have enough to do. She wanted to be my babysitter. She was just, I don't know. She was different. She was different than other nurses.
She made me want to walk around that room naked.
She is the one. There was one night. It was somewhere around 11, 12 at night, and we'd gone to bed. We had turned out the lights, but we were both.
Yeah, that's right. We were reading.
We were lying there reading. And
with our Nooks, little electronic books.
Yeah, and she peeked in the blinds and saw that we were reading, and then she came into the room.
And turned the light on.
And talks like you would think we were children. She said, I thought you were asleep, but here you are in here reading. And I'm like, so what?
I'm a grown-ass woman.
Like, I am 31 years old. I'm stuck here in the hospital. There's really not a whole lot that I can do, but I sure as heck can lay here in this bed and read all night long if I want to. Because guess what? It's not like I'm going anywhere tomorrow. I'm going to be right here in this bed. And I did not say all that to her, but I was so angry.
And at this point, you had been wearing the same underwear for like a week, right?
What? No! Oh my God, that's disgusting. I'd changed my underwear every single day while I was in the hospital.
Oh.
After the magnesium, I took a shower every day. Because I was always scared that something would happen and they would send me back and I would be stuck in the bed for days. And I was like, well, I better shower.
Was that the same woman that would come and knock on the door while you were pooping and try to talk to you?
They all did. I mean, not every single nurse knocked while I was pooping. But
like, how uncomfortable is that? You're sitting there, you're sitting down, you're prairie dogging it, right? You got one peeking out, trying to drop it, and you hear, Miss McKnight, is everything okay? And then you tell them, oh, I'm using the bathroom. And they respond with, the correct thing is to go, okay, thank you, I'll come back. But no, they go, well, when do you think you're going to be out? When I'm finished putting my turds in the toilet. When do you think I'm going to be out? Oh, we got to check your vitals. Well, you're not going to check them right now. I'm in here prairie dogging it. I don't know what to tell you. And they would just talk to you.
Yeah, there is absolutely no privacy, no modesty. Like, if they say, hey, we need you to take your clothes off so we can, check your downstairs, then you have to do it. And
if you listen to the previous episodes, then you know by this point when Katie says downstairs, she is referring to the pubic vagina area. Unless she's talking about a male. Then it's the penis pubic area. So continue. You pulled out your vagina for 30 people in that hospital. Not all at one time. There wasn't like a room full of 30 people, but I mean like over the stay. Good Lord, being
that's
pregnant.
Any woman who's ever had a baby knows that that's it. It's all about the downstairs. It has nothing to do with you, but that's just their way of checking on the baby. There's things that they need to get to and to see, and that's how they get there.
Well, doctors are like that in general. It's just way worse for women. You ever, you go to the doctor, and I got a cough, and they're like, take your pants off. And I'm like, whoa, I got a cough. I don't have an STD.
I had never in my life been more comfortable than, as strangers, like, just stripped down. I'm like, okay, here we go. It's just another day in the life.
And it just got...
Well, that's what you have to do.
It got worse as time went on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The buildup of, me peeing in a bedpan with a room full of people. But we'll get to that later. Anyway, so I don't even remember. We were talking about nurses. The nurse who came in, while we were reading. And anyway,
this same nurse made me nervous because we were watching True Blood on our laptop. I'd get in the bed with you. Right, in the little hospital bed, and we were watching True Blood, and anybody that watches that show, there's always, sex scenes.
I was like, oh my God, she's going to peek in the curtain, and she's going to think we're watching porn in here or something, because she peeked in all the time.
Oh, she did.
We were really nervous about that. I'm just watching True Blood.
I'm pretty sure she did look in at one point. I don't know, and, there was always some kind of naked sex scene going on in that show, but what are you going to do? You gotta pass the time somehow, right? A little bit of vampires, a little bit of sex.
I watched a lot of TV while I was in there. Speaking of, I got admitted. It was Wednesday, August the 6th. And I remember...
the week before Shark Week.
That following Sunday, Shark Week started. So I was like, okay, they want me to stay here for a little while. I was like, Shark Week is about to start. I'll hang out. I'll watch TV all day, watch Shark Week. I'm all about some Shark Week. And then, then I'll probably get to go home soon. So yeah, I was gonna go, like I said, the first few days I spent in bed, and then, moved me over, and I was like, okay, Shark Week's about to start. That Sunday, Shark Week started. I was like, I'm good. Just I'm just hanging out, watch Shark Week. And then Shark Week got over with, and I was like, I'm ready to go home now.
Preseason football started right around then, too. I missed the first Dallas game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we had gotten, I got the Sunday ticket again.
Shark Week is over. There's no need for me to be here.
I
pretty
can't
much
watch
how I am.
Sharks anymore. I need to get out
Yeah,
of the bed.
like, this is no good. I need to go home now.
But they tell you if you leave without their permission, what do they call it?
Against medical advice.
Against medical
Or
advice.
against medical advisement or something like
Which
that.
basically means if you leave, they're going to call the insurance company and go, this person left, and the insurance isn't going to cover your hospital bills.
10 days after I got admitted was my baby shower. Our baby shower. And it was a pretty big deal. Like, there was a lot of guests we were expecting to have. And, you know, I was really upset at the thought of missing it. So we really started asking around seriously, like, hey, what's going to happen if I just leave? Because they, you know, we had asked and they weren't letting me go home.
I look back on it now. I should have rolled you downstairs, put you in the truck, and took you to that baby shower. They would have never known.
But yet they, you started asking, you know, like, seriously, what will happen? What will happen if I just take her out of here for a few hours? And they're like, well, we have to report it to the insurance company that you left against our advisement, and then they could just refuse to cover your stay. And like I said, at this point, I had been there 10 days, and I was like, I don't even want to imagine how much it's going to cost. We need insurance to pay for this. I can't leave. So I ended up having to miss our baby shower. But I mean, it was okay. It was all good. Our family, our immediate family, and our best friend came to the hospital afterwards, and I got to open all the gifts.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was even though I didn't get to go to the baby shower, it was still nice, and we got a ton of gifts. Everybody was so sweet. And we actually went over to the Sweet Retreats to open gifts. Just because it was bigger than my hospital room. But, yeah. Anyway.
Anything else interesting happened between the baby shower and the time that the baby started coming? Oh, we went on that. We explored the hospital.
We went exploring.
That's right.
Yeah, I was given wheelchair privileges, okay? And I'm sorry, when you're stuck in the hospital and you go from being stuck in the bed for days, like, wheelchair privileges, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the crap right here. Please take me for a wheelchair ride.
Yeah, the first night I took you out, you were like Leonardo DiCaprio on the front of the Titanic. You had your arms spread open.
I was so glad to be out of the bed.
I'm king of the world.
I was so glad to
I took you running down the hallway one time, which is, I look back on it now,
I remember,
probably
like,
a little unsafe.
The wind in my face. I was like, oh, this is nice. But yeah, we went on wheelchair rides. I think almost daily. We just went for a little ride around the hospital. And
we fell into the fountain. I'm floating around. I'm like, Rose.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I remember we were like, okay, let's find a different, we need a change of scenery.
And this was at night.
It was at night. And it's funny because I think that nurse, the one that kept peeking in on us, was the one that was on duty. And I told her, I was like, okay, we're gonna go for a wheelchair ride. We'll be back in a little while. And anyway, so we went. We're like, let's find somewhere we haven't been before. Let's check out some new hallways. So we start exploring, and I remember we got to that one part of the hospital. It's like the pediatric part or something, and like most of the lights were off, and like there's this janitor mopping, and he was mopping the floor, and he was
no. Okay, before we get to the janitor, what happened first? We found this weird passageway. Not passageway. It was halls. But what you noticed was everything looked really nice. And then you would just go over a crack in the floor. The baseboards got dirty.
Yeah, like the farther we went,
half of the lights were out. It just got real, like,
things started to change.
Horror movie looking.
It was like he kind of made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up a little bit. Like, it got really creepy. And when we ran up on the janitor whistling, I was like,
he was
we need to turn around.
Half his hair was missing, crooked teeth. And he was just mopping in the dark. Like, he was in that room. There was
dark. Like one light on and all the rest.
And he's just mopping, just whistling. And I remember going, well, I think it's time for us to turn around and go somewhere else.
And he turned around and he asked us, you guys lost? And I was
he said it all creepy like that too. He's like, you guys lost.
Like, I got chills.
No, I'm not lost. As a matter of fact, there's 15 more people coming behind me. So if we go missing, they're going to know it's you.
It was like, it was like straight out of a horror movie. I was like, this guy's about to pull a chainsaw out and just chop us into bits. It was scary. So we're like, okay, we need to turn around. And then we ended up going down some different hallways. And I mean, we went deep into the hospital.
I knew we were somewhere we weren't supposed to be when the ceilings went away and there was nothing but pipes.
Yeah, it was like pipes overhead and
Yeah.
stuff. And then we ended up running into a security guard, and he was like, you can't be down here.
No, he said, how did you get here? And I was like, we walked.
We just walked. There was like no, we didn't like break into anywhere. We just walked down some hallways,
said that.
took a couple turns.
He was like, nobody should have access to this area. How did you get in? And I was like,
I'm in a wheelchair. We gotta
walked down
hop
the
some
hall.
barbed wire fence to get over here.
What's wrong with you? He was real intent to
He,
be a hospital cop.
Yeah, he was a hospital cop, and he let his power go to his head a little bit.
That's when I'd be like, dude, you're carrying a flashlight, bro. You need to calm down.
Yeah, like he didn't, no gun, no, not even a taser. He had like a mag light. But anyway, so we turned around, we went back to the room, and you know, the same weird nurse had something snappy to say because you know we had been gone too long. Like I had big important things to do. But anyway, and then I think we went to bed after that, and you had your nest.
My nest.
The nest.
Well, I'd already built the nest by this point.
Yeah, you already had the nest built.
What the nest was basically there was a couch in the room, and it was, I'm pretty sure it was made of cinder blocks. That's what it felt like.
You know, like, anybody who's ever stayed the night with a loved one at the hospital, I mean, hospital beds are uncomfortable enough as it is, but the little, like, love seat excuse for a couch that they have that folds out for your significant other, whoever to sleep on, it's like, it's so hard. And they give you pillows and blankets, but, you know, that doesn't make it any better.
How many nights did I stay before I decided that was crazy?
I think you had slept
2
on
or
that
3
thing.
nights?
Well, we spent like the 2 days over in labor and delivery.
Yeah.
Then I got moved over to antepartum, and you slept on that another couple days.
During labor and delivery, I had my own bed.
That's right. That's
I had
right.
a bed in the room.
That one really nice nurse.
She let us keep it.
Yeah.
But then they moved us to a room where I had the cinder block couch, and I was that mess was crazy. I remember thinking, you know what? I knew in my heart that I was going to come up there and stay with you every single night. I wasn't going to let you go through this alone, but I knew if I had to sleep on that freaking car hood of a couch, I was going to lose my mind.
Yeah, it was like the 4th or 5th night, and I remember we were about to go to bed, and you're like, I forgot something in the car. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. And you came back like 10, 15 minutes later, holding our couch cushions, and I was like, oh my God, what are you doing?
The looks I got in the hospital, walking through there carrying some big black square couch cushions. But you know what? I feel in the heart of hearts at like 3 o'clock in the morning, all those people that looked at me like that.
Those other dudes, those other expectant fathers are like,
they were sitting there going,
I wish I had my couch cushions.
Where are my couch cushions at? I think I need to leave. I need to go get my couch cushions like that big fat man I saw walking through here earlier.
Well, you know, you can't bring the whole darn bed. What's the next best thing? The couch. Or at least part of it.
The nest. I had my couch cushions. I covered them up with a sheet so it didn't look absolutely horrible. I had some comic books. I brought a whole bunch of comic books.
Oh, that's why we called it the nest. Because after a few days, like, you had brought the couch cushions.
I'd bring stuff and put it in there every day, yeah.
You kept bringing items, and you'd take it over to your nest like a little bird. Like a little bird grabs, like, you know, grass and twigs and stuff and builds this little nest. You did this. You had your comic books, and you had, like, chargers, various chargers for different electronic devices, and you had clothes and pillows and sheets and blankets, and you know, you just every day it's like you kept adding more items to this little nest of comfort in the corner of my hospital room. So and you know, every day, like for a week or so, like the nurse would come in and be like, oh, what is that over there? I'm like, that's our couch cushions. And they would laugh. But I go, it's a good idea. And they always agreed. They're like, you know, I'm sure there is many a man that would wish to have those couch cushions.
And I would just lean in and go, you know, there's never been a man like me. I didn't want to sleep on the, what did I call it before? The cinder block couches. It was crazy how uncomfortable it was.
When you were already, like, at the time, you were working 2 jobs and driving. We lived an hour away. So you were driving an hour just one way every single day. You stayed with me every single day. I was in the hospital a total of 32 days, 29 days before the babies were born. So yeah, those couch cushions came in handy, that's for sure.
What else happened? Anything else?
I know they would come in. The phlebotomist would come in at 4 a.m.
Oh Jesus!
Almost,
Dr. Acula would walk in.
Yeah, Dr. Acula,
4 o'clock in the morning.
Him. And the thing is, like, it's bad enough when you have someone come into your hospital room, turn basically a spotlight on your face, and they're like, Mrs. McKnight, we're here to draw some blood. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. But then they'd want to, like, talk to you. Like, they'd want to start a conversation.
You're like, you've been awake all night. I've been sleeping. Don't talk to me.
I'm just like, this is not the time for chit-chat. This is not the time for small talk. And a lot of times, they would want to talk to me about tattoos. Like, how did that hurt? How long did it take? And I'm like, I don't want to talk to you about this right now. I just want you to draw your little tube of blood and get out.
You didn't say that to
No,
him.
I did. Because I'm a nice person.
There was one time where you kind of, not crossed the line, but when you kind of stood your ground.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember the lady.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She said something about your tattoos, and you responded with, "It's 4 o'clock in the morning."
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know at all.
And
I
then
don't
there was
remember
just this. Because she had just started when you said that. So like, the rest of the 5 minutes that she was there drawing blood was just awkward, and like nobody said anything. And I started messing with them too. After about 3 or 4 nights of them coming in at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to get up at like 5:30 or 6. The lady walks in, and you were still asleep because you sleep hard like a rock. But she walks in, I wake up because I sleep light, and I just remember going. I hissed at her like a cat, and she couldn't see me because the room was dark.
What in the hell is that?
So she stops, and I'm watching her, and she eases over to the bed, and she flicks the light on, in which case I close my eyes and pretend like I'm in the sleep the whole time. So that was fun for me. I got to do that to like 5 or 6 times, which I think were different nurses. But,
yeah, it was pretty much. I don't even think I ever saw the same person twice. It was always a different person.
I feel like if you sign on to a job where you have to wake people up at 4 o'clock in the morning and take their blood, then you get what you deserve.
Yeah, I mean, when you wake somebody up at 4 a.m., there's no telling what could happen. And, when you spend the kind of time in the hospital that we did, like, you have to find ways to entertain yourself, or you will go crazy.
Like, planning an escape route?
Yeah, like, this was, what was it? I had been there for a few weeks by that point. I mean, like, I was ready to go insane.
It was around day 20.
I had cried many, many, many days, wanting to go home. I was homesick, I was exhausted, but you don't sleep well at the hospital. The beds are uncomfortable. People wake you up at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's constantly people in the room. So you were trying to cheer me up, and we're like, we're going to plan an escape route. And, like, we drew a diagram of the hospital and everything. We gathered supplies, our little condiment stash, and we were planning an escape. And we hung it up on the bulletin board in my room. And, like, the doctors would come and be like, what is that? And I would, straight face, like, that's our escape plan. And, they would laugh, but I'm like, I'm pretty serious about it.
And if you're friends with me on Facebook or follow me on Facebook, you can go back into August and see the pictures I put up of the escape route and the
We also have pictures
supplies.
of when we went exploring the hospital. There's pictures on our Facebook page of that, so we do have proof. If anybody wants to see that. But yeah, and most of the nurses were really nice. They really try to make your stay as pleasant as possible. I remember you, whenever I first got moved to antepartum, you were like, I'm going to try to make it, give you the most comforts of home as I can. And you went to the store that same day, and you were like, you got me the toilet paper, the same kind of toilet paper that we
You gotta
use.
be able to wipe your butt with the stuff that you're used to.
That hospital toilet paper is awful. It's like the one-ply, really hard stuff. So you got me the toilet paper we use at home. You brought me hand soap from home out of our bathroom, the nice Bath & Body Works hand soap. Just as many comforts of home as possible. And I remember you went out and bought me a new coffee mug. just to use on my hospital stay. It was
The Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, it was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle coffee mug. It was an awesome coffee mug. And the nurses, I thought this was really nice because
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
the hospital coffee is really like the coffee that you get when you order food. It was like the most god awful, weakest like coffee water that I've ever had in my life.
Well, they gave me access to the room, and I went and made you fresh coffee, but it was still weak.
Well, sometimes, some mornings, you know, when I ordered breakfast, you weren't there. But the nurses, they were really awesome, and they're like, hey, we have a Keurig in our little special nurse lounge over here, so all you have to do is bring your K-Cups, and we'll make your coffee. So I had me a special coffee mug, and I had my K-Cups, and...
Did you ever see that Keurig machine they had?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so you know when our Keurig machine, you put the cup in there, you shut it down, use it, then you open it up and take the cup out? Their Keurig machine, when you opened it, a drawer opened like our diaper genie in there, and the cup just disappeared.
What?
Yeah. It was huge, though.
Like industrial hospital strength Keurig machine. That's awesome.
So the cups would drop out into a box, I'm sure, that would fill up eventually, and you had to dump them out.
Maybe you recycle them, who knows? Anyway, that was really nice. Like, they didn't have to do that, but like you said, the antepartum nurses are really nice because a lot of times you spend a good deal of time in antepartum and you get to know the nurses pretty well, and most of them were nice. The one lady that wanted to babysit me, but other than that, and I had this one. She was actually a nurse's assistant. She was a little overly perky because they'd like to come in first thing in the morning. How did you sleep? And how are you feeling? Are you having any pain? Let's take your vitals.
And they would ask you that after the night before.
It's like I slept on a hospital bed and I had somebody wake me up to take blood at 4 a.m.
The nurse would come in at 10 o'clock and take your vitals, listen to the baby's heart, right? 10 o'clock at night. Then you slept on a hospital bed. At 4 o'clock in the morning, Dr. Acula comes in trying to take your blood, right? And then at 7 o'clock in the morning, they wake you up, take your vitals again, and then go, so, how did you sleep?
Did you rest well?
Did you get some rest?
How are you feeling?
No, I didn't get no damn rest. Y'all keep waking me up, taking my blood, checking my vitals, listening to babies. How about just let me sleep?
Yeah, there was the one nurse assistant. She was just the most perkiest. She was so sweet. Like, she would talk to me about Jesus. She would sing...
the old lady that sung?
She would sing me, like, church songs. Like, the first time that she broke out in the song, like, I was like, whoa. Whoa. I was like, oh my gosh, this lady.
You called me and told me about that.
Like, she sang to me today.
I was at work, and you sent me a text. It said call you or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but I called you.
Yeah, she just...
And you said you're not going to believe what happened. And I was like, oh God, is everything okay? And you go, yeah. The nurse just sang Jesus Take the Wheel or something like that. It was some song like that.
Jesus Take the Wheel.
It was some song, and I'm
no,
like,
she was so nice.
What are you talking about? It's like, this lady just came in here and had church with me.
She like wanted to make sure I drank plenty of water because she was like, because it'll make you feel great. And she did like the Tony the Tiger thing. She was like, it'll make you feel great. Like, she did the arm action, and like she was like pumping water into me all the time. But she was so nice. Like, you couldn't be mad at her. She was so nice.
Yeah, but it was that kind of nice. After about 3 hours, you want to pull your eyeballs out, cut your ears off, and feed them to a dog.
Like, the last few mornings, right before the babies were born, and I was in the hospital a total of 32 days. 29 days before the babies were born. So, we're talking like, 3 to 4 weeks in, like, there was a few mornings she came in, and with her perkiness, and I am the biggest, fattest, uncomfortable pregnant woman you've ever seen, and she's like, how did you sleep? Did you rest well? How are you feeling? And I just want to be like, shut your face, lady. I can't take your perkiness this morning. Go away somewhere. I ain't trying to give you my vitals. Just go away.
But you can't do that, because if you do, and you're honest to them like that, then they won't take your K-Cups into the lounge and get you some good
right,
coffee.
I know. I just had to suck it up and deal with it. Oh, my gosh. Oh, she would always ask me, did you eat yet? And I was like, no, I just woke up. And you have to, you call to order your food, and it takes about 45 minutes for them to deliver it. And I'm like, I just cracked my eyes. No, I haven't eaten yet. Are you crazy? And none of the other nurses or nurses' assistants ever asked me. So I caught on after a while. I was like, she doesn't have to know whenever I ate.
No.
I'm like, I think it's just for her own sake. She wants to know when I ate. It was weird. It was like, just out. Believe me, I'm not missing any meals. If I do, you will know. Did you eat yet? Did you order your breakfast? Did you order your lunch?
So, you ordered dinner one night and it didn't come.
Oh my gosh. You want to know how to piss off a pregnant lady real quick? Just don't bring her food. Yeah, I ordered dinner one night. You were at work, and I ordered food well before, like, the cutoff time, because the kitchen or whatever closed at,
8?
I think it was 8 o'clock. And you could order right up until 8 o'clock. You just had to have your order in. So they say, it takes 45 minutes, and I ordered, and I waited, and it never came. It never came. I still had a tray from lunch in my room. The guy came around to pick up the tray, and I was like, hey, I ordered my food like an hour ago, and they haven't come yet. And he's like, oh, they'll deliver it soon. And by this time, like, I'm starting to panic. I was like, they haven't brought my food yet. And you weren't going to be there until late that night. And I was like, well, what's going to happen if they just don't bring my food and they forget about me? And I really think that, I think they messed up my order, forgot about me.
Oh, yeah.
Because it probably wasn't until 30 to 45 minutes after I talked to that guy that it took them like 2 hours to bring my food. And by that time, I had been crying. I mean, I'm pregnant with twins.
I came in later that night, right?
Yeah.
And you told me the story, and I'm sitting here like, wait, so my pregnant wife with my 2 kids, my son and my daughter, order food from the hospital, and it doesn't come?
And I mean, yeah, I can't leave the hospital to go get food. I mean, I'm stuck there. I order the food, they bring the food. We have a good thing going. If they forget, I'm crap out of luck unless I get somebody else to bring me food. And, yeah, by the time they finally brought my food that night, like, I was, like, crying. I was so upset.
I called the manager the next day, had him come up to the room, and he came in, introduced himself, and I was like, I think we need to step outside.
You took that man in the hallway and raked him over the coals.
In front of patients, everybody. I remember looking at him, I was like, are you kidding me? So is it normally a policy for you guys not to bring a pregnant woman her dinner? And he goes,
Yeah, I know they had this like really young girl bring me my food that night, and she came in and she was like, I'm really sorry. And the nurse later on came in and told me that she had come to the nurse and was like, I'm really sorry. And the nurse said, don't apologize to me. I'm not the pregnant woman you forgot to bring her food to. Like, they knew they did wrong.
They messed up, they messed up something of mine.
They mess up our food, like, every day. I
know, like, my food just didn't come one day. And I called him and I was like, look, I'm ordering food from here. Because I had to pay for it as a guest. I was like, I'm ordering food from here because my wife, might like somebody to eat with her. And you're not giving me my food. So he ended up giving me free meals for the rest of the time.
Yeah, we had so much problems that we talked to like the manager, and he gave you free guest trays for the remainder of my stay. So that was really nice, but lots of horrible experiences just trying to get food from the kitchen there. But the food itself wasn't that bad. Like, people talk so badly about hospital food, and it wasn't that bad. But the only thing is, after you eat the same things over and over and over again, I'm like, there's only so many yogurt parfaits you can eat until you're like, I'm sick of it. So
Incorrect.
I remember
I could eat all the yogurt parfaits.
I remember calling my mom, and I'm like, Mom, will you please just cook me food? I was like, don't even buy me food from somewhere. Cook it at your house. I want real food that you cooked at home. And my mom was awesome. She actually cooked us dinner a few times and brought it out there to the hospital. Just so I didn't have to eat hospital food or fast food. And my mom, she, while I was pregnant, I craved coffee. And I stuck to like 1 cup a day. I really tried to limit my caffeine intake. But, the doctor was like, well, a cup a day is okay. And my mom would come. She came and visited me just about every day. Like,
yeah, she did a really good job.
There was only a few times that she didn't come, and she would call me and she's like, "Do you want me to bring you a latte?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, I want a latte." Because like Port City Java is like
coffee.
I'm like, please. And my mom doesn't go to Starbucks or Port City Java or wherever. She doesn't order fancy coffee. She likes her regular old coffee she makes at home. So I'm like trying to tell her what I wanted, and she's like trying to remember my order. I think I was like, I want a tall hazelnut latte with skim milk, and she's like focuses so hard. She did awesome, but yeah, by the time the babies were born, like she had my coffee order down pat. Like she was really awesome.
So there was only I think really one other thing that stands out in my mind that happened while you were in the hospital.
Well, another good thing that happened to me, there's lots of crappy parts about being in the hospital for 32 days, but the hospital had a program. It was called the Healing Arts, I think is what it's called.
Oh, where you got massages.
Yeah, and I had been there for a week or two, and the doctor was like, hey, has anybody talked to you about the Healing Arts program? I was like, no, please tell me about this. And she signed me up to get massages. And they came once a week, and I got full body massage once a week from a professional massage therapist. And so that was really, really awesome. I kind of miss those massages. Like that was definitely one of the perks of
my husband doesn't give me massages like this.
And also I got to see therapy dogs. You know, the dogs that they will bring around to. You see a lot of times you hear about them going to see the kids in the hospital. Really sick kids, but they came to see me too. I saw therapy dogs a few times, and you know they're just really, really sweet and come in and see you and cheer you up, and it made me miss our dog. I didn't get to see him for a whole month, but once again, my mom babysat the dog for the whole month, and she actually brought him out there one Sunday to see me.
You had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it was gosh, I think it had been like 3 weeks since I had seen him, and
Mark, he was so excited.
He was so excited. He probably wasn't as excited as I was. I was missing my dog bad. I mean, I've had this dog for like 9 years. I've never spent that much time away from him. And the nurse was like, just get somebody to bring him. And we went out.
Sneak him inside.
Yeah, we didn't sneak him inside, but I went outside and we visited with him. So that was really awesome. So that was some of the good stuff that happened while I was there.
So while you were in the hospital getting massages, visiting with your dog, doing all this stuff.
Oh, don't even say it like that. Like it was just a cup of tea.
I was downtown getting robbed. That happened while you were in the hospital, right?
It's not like I robbed you.
Oh my gosh. So I getting comic books, you know, because that's a dangerous endeavor.
Who knew going to pick up your comic books would be such a dangerous thing?
So I go into the comic book store downtown, Nerdvana, and he's got this bucket on the register that says if you buy every two DC comics you buy, you get a power ring. And there was this set of rings that came out like a year earlier. There were like 9 rings altogether. They were different colors. Whatever. But I'd bought like 6 books that day. So I was going to get like 3 of these rings. And I get them, I put them in my bag, and I leave the store, and I'm walking back. I parked on the parking deck near Market Street that day. And I turned left down this alley. And
you were wearing one of them.
I was wearing the ring.
You were wearing one of the power rings.
I wasn't wearing... I mean, I was wearing... It wasn't like I was...
You had it on your finger. You were wearing
I wasn't walking around rocking the power ring.
You were rocking the power ring.
I didn't have like a lantern with me.
No, but you had on the power ring.
Anyways, I turned down
Don't be acting like you weren't rocking the power ring.
I turned down this... I was wearing the power ring. All right, I was looking for a lantern. I was fixing to be a superhero. So I turned down this alley, and there's this guy, and he looked to me to be homeless. I don't really know if he was or not, but he walks up and he's like, "Hey man, I need some money." And I didn't have any cash. I paid everything. I paid credit cards, debit cards for everything I buy. And I was like, "Sorry man, I don't have any cash on me." And he puts his hand on my shoulder and turns me around and says, "I don't think you understand." So I paused for a quick second, and then I just hit him in the face.
With your power ring.
With
your fist with the power ring on.
The power ring just happened to be on my hand when I
There
hit
is
him.
Hey, if anybody runs across a guy with an imprint of the Green Lantern power ring on his face, beware, because he is a mugger.
So I hit the dude in his face, and at the same time, this white girl and her boyfriend probably come walking by, and she sees it go down. She starts screaming, and she yells, "Cops, cops, cops!" And in my mind, I thought she was with this guy, warning him.
Oh, like, watch out, there's cops nearby.
The cops are coming, the cops are coming. But it turns out she was actually just an innocent, person walking by, and she was yelling to the cops. So the cops come over, and after I hit this guy, he runs, right? He's
Of
out.
course, because I mean, what else are you gonna do
Yeah, like-
when you get punched in the face
With a power
with a
ring.
Green Lantern power ring?
You
You're
run-
just,
you
what
run
can
away.
you do but
Yeah.
just run away?
So
It's over. Like, you're not getting any money. You're done.
the cop comes up to me and he asks me what happened. I told him the story, and I didn't mention anything about the power ring. I wasn't gonna be like, yeah, I just beat the hell out of this guy with the Green Lantern power ring.
I ran him off with my power ring.
So he talks to me and he's like, do you want to press charges? And I told him, I was like, well, you know, I don't know who the guy is. How does that work? And this cop looks at me and he goes, probably not. Nothing's going to come from it.
That was his way of, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna find
so
it.
I looked at him and I was like, so there's a possibility that I could stand here with you for the next 45 minutes going over paperwork and nothing's ever going to happen?
Be like, my wife is, my pregnant wife is in the hospital. I'm on the way to the hospital to go see her. You know, this is very inconvenient.
So he ends up taking my phone number because I told him I didn't want to press charges until he picked the guy up. So he took my phone number and told me to give me a call back whenever he figured out who it was, and that never happened. It wasn't too long after that, September 4th rolled around, right?
You know, I do remember a conversation that we had with one of the nurses. It was just a few days before the babies were born. We started talking about the hospital towels.
Oh, the ones that are cleaned by prison inmates?
The hospital towels are awful. They're really small, and they're really thin, and you need like 8 of them, theoretically, to dry off a humongous pregnant body. So, you know...
Or just a regular humongous body.
I don't even know how the conversation started, but me and this nurse, we were talking, and she's like, just out of nowhere, she's like, you know who washes the towels, right? And I'm like, no, I don't. I honestly do not know who washes the hospital towels. She's like, the prison inmates.
Well, it's not the people in the hospital, because you know you throw them into the washing machine and all you hear is because they built this building and didn't take the air out of
this nice new building.
the plumbing, the lines. They take the air out of the lines.
It's a women and children's building, and it's only 5 years old. Nice, really nice new building. And there was apparently a problem with the plumbing. There was air in the lines that they never took out, and so anytime you take a shower in this building, the pipes shake and rattle so bad.
Oh, it's loud. It's horrible.
Oh my, it sounds like the building is gonna fall down. So like if somebody on like either side of me was taking a shower, I knew it. Like, yeah, my next door neighbor's taking a shower right now. I can tell because yeah, it was like the most god awful shaking, but yeah, so I learned something new in my hospital today, that the prison inmates are the ones who wash the hospital towels.
So I'm like, awesome. I'm just going to take this towel home from now on. I don't want the prison people messing with the towels.
We did not bring new hospital towels home. You just stop. I wouldn't even want those things.
I'd bring loads of them home and wash them and take them back. No.
Like, I remember, like, okay, there was a paper towel dispenser in the bathroom. You know, dispense the brown paper towels. And there were days where I would be drying off, and I'm like, these hospital towels are so horrible. I was like, I think I'd be better off if I just grab a wad of paper towels out of the dispenser. Like, I seriously thought about this in my head, like, and it would work better. Because these towels are so horrible.
And then with the towels are bad, the showers, makes you almost want to take a hoe bath.
Oh my gosh.
You know what a hoe bath is, right?
Like in the sink. Like
yeah, you
sponge bath.
You cup the water, wash your genitals off, your armpits. Try to get your hair, you know what I mean? It's probably easier.
No, like other than the first couple days when I was doing the magnesium and I couldn't get out of the bed, I showered every day because I always thought, I was always scared, like, if I start going into labor again, they're going to send me back over there. They're going to make me take the magnesium treatment. I'm not going to be able to get out of bed for 2 days. So I'm like, I need to shower now, just in case. So I showered every day because I was like, you know, I'm not going to go through that again. It was horrible. I remember you had to bring me cups of water so I could brush my teeth because I was like, look, I might be stuck in this bed for 48 hours, not being able to eat or shower, and peeing into a bag because I have a catheter, but I'm brushing my teeth.
You don't have no nasty breath.
Like,
Magnesium breath.
I draw the line right there. We're not going without brushing our teeth. That's where I draw the line.
So after all that fun's over, September 4th is
Well, actually, the day before.
the day before. What happened the day before?
I was apparently in labor for like 24 hours and didn't know it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were going to let you go.
They had finally, after 4 weeks, they were talking about letting me go home. And the doctor was like, well, each day I'd see a different doctor. And he said, well, the doctor tomorrow will check you. We'll see where you stand. And at that point, I had lost all hope. I was like, they're not going to let me go home. So the next day rolls around. I had not slept well the night before. The evening before, my back was hurting really, really bad. I was having contractions, but nothing crazy. Nothing super strong. They hooked me up to the monitors, because I was having contractions, but they were about like 5 to 7 minutes apart. They never got any closer together. They never really increased in intensity, so we're like, okay, it's just, I have twins. They kept saying, the term they would say is, your uterus is angry. It's stretched, farther out than what it should be. Your body's not meant to hold more.
You just want to lean in and go, you want to know about uteruses being angry? Keep me in here a little bit longer.
So, I didn't sleep well the night before. I kept waking up all night long. I wanted to wake you up a couple times because I was just so miserable. I got up a couple times, kind of paced back and forth, like, just to get my mind off of it. And, anyway, the next day, I told the doctor, I was like, my back's hurt. And she's like, well, we're going to get you a muscle relaxer. We all just kind of wrote it off.
And they wanted to give you the towels, the hot towels,
they
which never showed up for like 10 hours.
A heating pad. They were going to give me a heating pad. And yeah, it took them like hours to bring that. But, we all wrote it off like, hey, you've spent a month in this hospital bed.
Your back hurts.
You're not sleeping well. Your back hurts. You're pregnant with twins. You're just uncomfortable. Your back hurts. So it went on for almost a full 24 hours. And that night, see, the nurses changed shift at 7 a.m., 7 p.m. They worked 12-hour shifts. The night nurse came in at 7, and she came in to talk to me. And it was after 7. It was I think about 8:00, 8:30 that night. And we were watching the football game. It was the very first football game of the season. And see, you kept joking around.
The Packers and the Seahawks.
Because my due date was October 27th, and you kept saying, watch, these kids are gonna try to be born in the middle of a Cowboys game. You kept saying, they're gonna wait till the middle of the football game and they're gonna come. So September 4th, first football game of the 2014 football season.
The Super Bowl champs, the
Seahawks were playing the Packers.
And they beat them that game.
And we had just started watching the football game. The night nurse had come in to talk to me, and she's asking me questions. And I asked, you had the TV, the little controller with, that controlled the TV. And I asked you, I was like, hey, can you turn the TV down? And you were like focused. You did not hear me. I was like, can you turn it down?
I thought you might have had a
Can you turn the TV down? Like, I asked
woman
you, like,
ADD, eventually you would just like stop talking about it, stop thinking about it.
I asked you like 4 times. And then I was like, can you turn the TV down? And the nurse was like, let's get you hooked up to this monitor and see what's going on. And then, she's like, you're having some contractions. I'm gonna call the doctor and get her to come back and check you. And I didn't know at the time. We didn't know until the next day. Another nurse had told us. She said, how your nurse knew that something was going on? I was like, no. She said, you snapped. You snapped at your husband. Because they knew, I had been there a month. They knew I was so nice and I didn't do that. I didn't snap at you. But I snapped at you to turn the TV down. And she knew. She knew something was going on. And she made the doctor come back in. And the doctor's like, they hooked me up to the machine. They're like, she's like, you're having some contractions, but, nothing really crazy. You could tell. She didn't think I was in labor. She's like, I'm going to check you and just see what's going on. So she did, and she said, okay, well, we're going to take you for a C-section now.
It's not even halftime
and,
yet.
I was like, what do you mean? I was like, just a second ago you were saying you didn't think I was in labor. I said, well, how far dilated am I? She said, all the way. And, his head's right there.
Yeah.
Like, Riley was ready to come right then. No waiting. She's like, and when a doctor says, we're going to take you for a C-section now, they don't play around. Immediately, there was like a swarm of nurses and stuff, and people are like ripping my clothes off and prepping me for a C-section. They're like shaving my belly and.
So earlier, I think it was this one that we recorded because we did stop and come back. You talked about peeing in the bedpan. That's what happened.
I had to pee. Like they were about to take me for a C-section, and I was like, I really have to pee.
So.
And she hands me a bedpan. She's like, here you go.
I guess we're gonna get into that story
next time.
So it's been an hour of information. We'll probably shave some of that off with the editing, but pretty long episode.
Yeah, well, that month that I was in the hospital, it was crazy. A lot of stuff happened, and it was definitely eventful. To be so boring, it was eventful.
So just so you know, we're gonna start our next episode out with peeing in bedpans, and we'll
start off with the night our kids were born.
We'll find out whether or not Katie's vagina exploded. We'll see what happens. But once again, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.